The Boys TV series will be ending with Season 5, and I think I know what their endgame is. What's up, guys? This is Jim from the Bingetown TV podcast, and today I want to break down my theory on how the Boys TV show is going to end. Spoilers for the comic book and TV show ahead. In the comic book, Billy Butcher ultimately goes crazy and becomes the main antagonist, where he tries to execute a plan to blow up any person with Compound V in their veins. Now, if you haven't read the comics but you're caught up with Season 4 and Gen V, then I'm sure your mind is immediately going right to the virus that was introduced in Gen V and how a similar plotline can easily be introduced for the main series. Butcher in the comics and Butcher in the show are pretty different, the main difference being Ryan. Without giving too many spoilers, Ryan's story in the comics versus the show is shockingly different. So Ryan is going to be the base of my theory here. My theory is that Homelander is going to directly or indirectly kill Ryan, which is going to unhinge Butcher, leading him to eventually become the main antagonist of the show. Butcher's number one plan has always been to take out all Supes, with Homelander being the number one priority. He was reminded of this in episode 6 by Joe Kessler, who was revealed to be his Fight Club Tyler Durden. However, recently, his priorities have changed because of Ryan. Ryan existing has brought out more of his humanity, and his main plan evolved from kill all Supes to keep Ryan safe and get him away from Homelander. Homelander has already been showing this season that he still always wants to be number one. He's shown jealousy when it comes to Ryan. He's been losing his temper when Ryan's been showing his humanity, and he even swore on Ryan's life when he's blatantly lying. Could Ryan ultimately choose Butcher and then Homelander go crazy as a result? If Ryan is gone, Butcher will have no reason to live and will try to unleash the virus on not just Homelander, but all the Supes in the world. That would force Huey and the rest of the Boys team to go against Butcher and try to stop him, which of course ultimately makes Butcher the final antagonist of the series. Now, a few things to break down. Number one is the virus. I think that at this point the show is specifically queuing up the virus to replace the exploiting devices that exist in the comic book Endgame. In episode 6, it's finally revealed by Dr. Samir why he refuses to create a virus strong enough to kill Homelander. If he creates the virus, it will become majorly unstable, airborne, and highly contagious. This would not only kill Homelander, but all Supes that exist. After this revelation, Butcher hallucinates a conversation between himself, Becca, and Kessler, where Kessler thinks that they just hit the jackpot. The big problem that I see with this theory, though, is that the main difference between Butcher in the show and Butcher in the comics is that the show version has shown compassion and that he has a heart at times. The Butcher that we see in the show is ruthless and an asshole, but there's still redeeming qualities that make us want to root for him, and I could see many people being very upset if he becomes the final boss of the series. The Butcher in the comics is pretty much just straight up an ass, and he goes so crazy and does so many unthinkable things that it can be accepted that he has now become the villain. So, how do we fix this issue? Honestly, either way, I think people are going to get upset if Butcher becomes the villain, but it could make sense if the main source of compassion is taken from him, aka Ryan, and if the show utilizes Joe Kessler as the villain, even though technically it would still be Butcher. If Homelander kills Ryan and Butcher is unable to save him, I can see that unhinging him enough to become the final villain, allowing Joe Kessler to fully take over and unleash Butcher's darkness. From the moment episode 6 revealed that Joe Kessler exists as Butcher's darkness, the showrunners introduced a loophole to allow Butcher to become the main antagonist like in the comics, but actually have it be Kessler. Starting in next week's episode, Butcher will be fighting Kessler with Becca's help. Eventually, when he releases Kessler and becomes the bad guy, the way we can bring about a quote-unquote happy ending is by having Huey and the crew somehow remind Butcher of his humanity so he can fight off Kessler and sacrifice himself to bring about the endgame of the show, still making him the villain, but allowing for redemption, unlike in the comics. Alright, so what do you guys think? Do you think I'm onto something here? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the theory, please hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be dropping a lot more coming soon. Alright, until next time, guys.